Hello everyone, my name is Tan Lam and today I will talk about vaccine and anti-vax controversy. So before understanding how vaccine work, we need to look at human immunity system. As foreign bacteria invade our body, the immunity system will respond by having white blood cells to fight off bacteria or pathogen. Besides the ability to fight off pathogen, it also have another ability such as adaptive immunity, would let our body remember bacteria that have that the immune system encounters, so our body can fight that bacteria more effectively when we encounter it again in the future. So by knowing these facts, we can come and look at what vaccines really are. So vaccines are simply treated pathogen or bacteria and it being injected into our bodies to improve our defense mechanism against bacteria, which is we also know our immunity system. Currently, there are various types of vaccine, and four of them are still being developed, but three of them are being used today. So the first one is live attenuated vaccine. This vaccine is made from a weaker form of pathogen. The second one is inactive vaccine. This vaccine is made from the pathogen already been killed, and they made vaccine this way so that when it's enter our body, it will not fully develop, and it's also give our immune system time to build up the defense system in our body against the pathogen in the future. There's also pro and con between these two vaccines. The second vaccine, the pathogen may be already dead, but it does not give us a long-lasting immunity. As for the first one, it does, but it also have a likelihood of causing people sickness because as a weak person with a weak immunity, as a person with sorry about that, as a person with weak immunity system, when they receive a live attenuated vaccine, are likely to get more of the side effect, and they will likely have the chance to get the disease. And the third one is a vaccine that called subunit vaccine, and it is created from a small part of pathogen that called an antigen, and this antigen is the one that trigger our immune response in our body. And this vaccine help our body to build up the immunity for a specific response that we having. The last type of vaccine is the one that is the DNA vaccine. This vaccine is made from an isolated gene that's make up the specific antigen, and this will result in a stronger immune system. This vaccine is still developed, and they believe that if we successfully created this vaccine, it prevent a lot of sickness like HIV or any uncurable disease that we encounter, and is likely to prevent most of them. And this brings us to our my main focus of HPV vaccine controversy. So HPV is the abbreviation for human papillomavirus. This particular sexual transmitted infection is very dangerous, and it can cause women to get cervical cancer. The transmission of this infection is not only through penetration sex, but it can be spread through oral and anal sex. The CDC, or the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, are recommended children between the age of 11 and 12 to have HPV vaccine. The reason that children should have HPV vaccine at this particular age because preteens have a higher immune response to HPV vaccine, and they have a very little risk of exposure to HPV. From the data on the right side, we can tell that there are a large percentage of children that are not getting HPV vaccine. So the problem is, why does this particular vaccine is not being accepted as many other type of vaccine? This brings us to the third idea about anti-vax controversy. So to understand more about the anti-vax and why people choose to not get vaccinated, The three main reasons that make people think twice before getting vaccine are about gender issue, efficacy, and their knowledge about HPV. So the tricky part about the HPV virus is that the male is the one that carry the virus, and the woman is the one that get affected by it. There are many HPV and so one of anti-vax theory on HPV vaccine is related to Merck pharmaceutical, um, as stated in one of my peer-reviewed article, and this particular company sell vaccine, the HPV vaccine, and it's being called Gardasil. So according to one of the article, this corporation advertisement about this particular drug is very one-sided, and because they're only aiming for the mother that have daughter, the author of the article think that boys should also be encouraged to take this vaccine to sign this main responsibility, and their contribution in taking the vaccine help women from getting HPV in the future. The author found that Merck pharmaceutical is not trustworthy because their view about HPV virus is limited, and they should take a bigger step in introducing this vaccine to a bigger audience instead of this lead people to raise questions about the company efficacy on the vaccine as well. And based on another peer-reviewed article, there are two studies that suggest HPV give a lot of adverse effect, and small percentage of those adverse effect is around like 0.7% of the cases result in serious effect ranging from paralysis to death. Funding is about the research about this vaccine also raise questions to many people because they're also claiming that there is not enough funding go toward monitoring the drug one is on the market. There are also conspiracy theory that about how company does not spend enough money because on the research, and they just spend enough so that they can clear up the FDA inspection. This brings more suspicion to the real objective of this pharmaceutical company. Is that whether they want more profit or they care about people's health? Lastly, the knowledge of people about HPV virus and sex can really make them think twice before getting this type of vaccine for their daughter. This led the parent to concern that the HPV vaccine may lead their daughter to think that the parent allowed them to have sex before marriage, because this vaccine is being used to prevent a woman from having a certain disease when they actively have sex. By knowing this, many parents are afraid that children may think that they are allowed to have sex because they got the vaccine that preventing any like sexually transmitted disease. And from my perspective, many parents do not give their children a proper sex talk, and those parents can be very strict on the premarital sex. Another article also demonstrated that women are likely to get their kid take HPV vaccine because they heard it from their physician and family doctor. Many people do not trust the media and the advertisement, so the information that comes from doctor is more reliable and credible. And from this presentation, we can see that there are good things about taking vaccine, and there are many other problems that make people stop taking vaccine. There are many counter arguments that can be made on both sides, but it's still people choice that make the right decision. So, and a good decision always based on reliable information and a good source. So it is up to you guys to decide whether to take vaccine or not. But in my opinion, there are many conspiracy theory about vaccination. But one of the most powerful invention that helps save million people life.